there, Julia here. So, I did not do a currently inked at the beginning of September. It was just too crazy. I had just gotten back from the San Francisco Pen Show, and then we had some work trips, and yeah, it just got a little bit hectic. Thinking about my schedule throughout the end of the year, I decided that it would make more sense to do a mid-month to mid-month currently inked cycle, at least from September to November because of travel. There's also the Japan trip coming up, and where that falls, like it makes more sense to do this mid-month to mid-month situation. And then in December, I'll do like I did last year and just go through my ink journal and ink up my favorites from every month to be able to pick a favorite pen and ink pairing for the year. I had so much fun doing that last year that I want to do it again. And not gonna lie, I was feeling a little bit on edge about not having a September currently inked and all of that. And then I realized, like, I make the rules. I can ink up new pens whenever I want to. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm sharing it. But also, I really enjoyed the August lineup so much, so I wasn't really in the biggest rush to switch it out. But throughout the early part of September and in October, I was looking at all the samples that I had and realizing that I had quite a few samples that were just like the smallest bit left, and really one fill would knock them out. And so I decided that for this round of pens, I was just going to choose the samples that were almost gone, a sample purge, if you will, and then choose pens to match mostly. That's mostly what I did this month. There are a few exceptions and we'll talk about it, but let's get into the first one, get us going. The first pen that I have inked up is the Penlux Masterpiece Delgado in the Euplea. I still do not know how to say this. And I have installed in here the Sankakusen grind from CY, which I love this grind. I think I've said it several times here recently. It's the Naginata Togi style Japanese grind, architect-like in nature, but yes, I have this inked up with, for the last time, at least right now, Sailor Ink Studio 252. And since I don't have any ink left, we can't really do swatches in most cases here, so the currently inked spread will just look a little bit different. This is like a currently inked update because I have had these inked for a little bit now. So you can see it's a beautiful dusty purple that kind of matches the purple in the pen here, but still gives us a little fall. I was trying to touch on all the bases when I could, but you know, it's a little hard when the ink samples that you have a little bit of don't really fit a particular theme. We should have blotter paper. Beautiful writer. I got this pen with a stub nib. The stub nib's okay. I don't necessarily love the stub nib, and it may be because the inks that I've put in here prior just weren't a good match. Like the flow wasn't that great, but totally a different story with this nib and ink combination. Like I was even thinking about selling this beautiful pen. Not gonna happen right now. Okay, next up is the Sailor 1911 Large in the Call of the Cthulhu color. This one has a medium nib and it has a coated black nib and those beautiful sparkle accents here. I feel like I've had this pen inked up quite a few times recently. I know at least another time this year, which is fine. But I just love this color. I have so many inks that look good in this pen because teal. But the sample that I finished off and put in this pen, I may have to get a bottle of at some point. We'll see. But it is inked up with Wearing Gold TikTok Croc. I love the Sailor medium and broad nibs with that little bit of feedback. It's so good. I think a very lovely match. It's spot on for these finial, sparkly, translucent colors there. Okay, next up I have this gorgeous Ursa model from White Bear Pens. I am calling this the Mermaid colorway. And I have installed in here the Cutlass nib that I got done in San Francisco by Damien with All in the Nib. And so I did learn a little bit more about this grind. I know I said before, I'll tell you later, but this grind is architect-like, so we get thin downstrokes, thick cross strokes, but the cross strokes change and vary based on your writing angle. So it's kind of a forgiving architect. It's very slicey. Lots of feedback with this thing, and it's super fun to write with. But I have this inked up with Diamine Spearmint Diva, which was one of the first samples in my collection. So I've had this one for quite a while. Oh yeah, I remember. So this ink is usually a little lighter than this, but I still had like remnants of black ink from when it was ground in here. And so we get a little bit of a darker, sparkly teal. This does have shimmer in it, but I actually love it. So hot tip, I guess, if you have Diamine Spearmint Diva and you're like, oh, that's way too turquoise, throw the tiniest bit of black in it, and it's gorgeous. Okay, next is a pen that I grabbed at the San Francisco Pen Show from Peyton Street Pens. I know that the brand is Mondu because of the logo here on the clip, but I still have not found this model anywhere, so it's gonna be called Fountain Pen. And so I don't have a color for it or any other information to share, so we're gonna be making up stuff. But I just have a regular old fine nib installed in here, and the ink that I polished up, you can see the last little bit of it sloshing around in there, is Diamine Alpine. This does have some shimmer in it, but I don't think that there's very much in here. I'm gonna say that this is a slate color. We have a fine nib. This is so comfortable in the hand. Oops. Such a beautiful pen. Okay, next up is this Novelore Nautilus in the all black. And I think last time I had this inked up, it was October last year for my all black pens. And I've been wanting to ink this one up again because I enjoyed it so much the first go around. And I have this inked up with Pelikan Edelstein Jade. And so you will see that a lot of the inks that I only had a little tiny bit left were teals and turquoises because that's how I live my life apparently. But I just feel like it's gonna be really nice to feel like I'm starting fresh. I will say already that it was so cool to empty out all of these sample vials. Oops, we did not need a comma there. This has a fine nib, it's coated. I can definitely say I don't love Novelore nibs in general, but when they're coated, in certain cases, I like them, especially paired with a wetter ink, and this is okay. This kind of does the job. Got quite a bit of shading here. We'll see how that shakes out. I haven't been reaching for this one as much so far, but I definitely think it's just the ink match here. Okay, the next pen is this Fine Writing International pen. This model is called the Finestro and the colorway is called Forest Rain. It was a 2020 Endless Pens exclusive, and I actually won it in St. Louis at their pen show auction. And for this ink, I did something a little bit different than the let's get rid of samples because this was looking very teal, very like not fall. And so I did add a couple of samples in here to kind of have that fall feel. And for this one, I went with Robert Oster African Gold. I did not mention that this does have a extra fine nib in here. Quite long posted, but it is a secure post. I really love this ink. I can see myself getting a bottle of this once it runs out. There's not very much left in here. And a gorgeous match for some of the lightest areas in this pen, especially that. Okay, the next pen and ink combo. The pen is the Leonardo Momento Zero in the Rosewood Ebonite. So this entire pen is Ebonite, this gorgeous red and black striation here. And I chose for this to give it some fall vibes. Ferris Wheel Press Velvet Ballet. Does have some shimmer in here, but I actually don't remember pulling any shimmer out of here. And I've been reaching for this one a lot so far in this currently inked period. It's a good combination. The flow is really wet. And it's just a gorgeous match. I'm sure I showed you this before, but this is really neat. It has a blind fill. So this is a regular cartridge converter fill like any other fountain pen like that, but you can fill it without taking the pen completely apart. Very cool. We're gonna have to do some hardcore abbreviation here to get it to fit. It's Ferris Wheel Press Velvet Ballet. Super lovely, super wet and smooth flow. Love that. And then the next pen and ink combination, the pen is from Piper Trading Company. This is the Second Empire pen model. And if you didn't know, Piper Trading Company is a sister company to Franklin Christoph. So same folks, different style. So I'm calling this colorway, I named it myself because I couldn't find it online, but I'm calling it Temple Salt. I have installed in here a cursive smooth italic nib, and for this one I chose an ink that was on my inks to use in 2025 list. There's only a few months left and I only have, I think, 2 or 3 inks that I haven't used. Let's see if I can find that spread. Probably not. I know it's got to be at the beginning of the year. Bam, I found it. I only have one more, so that'll be easy, and I would have knocked out this list for the year. In here, I decided to ink up Ferris Wheel Press The Sad Charade. So yeah, still along the same lines as some of these teals and turquoises, but we're a little bit more like desaturated in color here. This cursive smooth italic is very nice. It is quite slicey to be a smooth, but I enjoy it. This is from JJ Lax. A lovely combination though with this nib, with this pen. Look at that variation there though. The downstroke versus the cross stroke is really nice. Wow, what am I spelling? I love the moodiness, but also some sparkle in this pen. Okay, and that's what I have inked up for this month. I hope you enjoyed this little currently inked update. It's a little different than the usual, but let me know what you have inked up and what you've been loving so far. I always love to hear about what you guys have going on. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you love pen, inks, planning, and journaling. I mentioned that inks to use in 2025, and if you want to have a little swatching party and talk about inks that I'm excited for, I'll leave that video for you right here to check out next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.